What's up, guys? My name is SnyperSama, but you can call me Sniper. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going over my Title Update 3.5 Meta Longsword build. Now, I am aware, as of the time of this recording, we're only 2-3 weeks out from Title Update 4. However, from what I can tell, I don't think there's going to be any crazy changes, at least to the weapon choices and some of the best skills for each of our weapons. However, that could change. We're not sure. They're dropping a lot of different stuff, and we're going to be learning a lot. We're going to be able to transcend armor. We're going to have a couple different things going between us. However, this is the build that I have been rocking in all of my offline and on-stream hunts when I'm playing Longsword, so let's go ahead and get into it. Today, we are rocking Dimensius. This is my Rarity 8 Paralysis Longsword, and this rolled with my perfect roll of 3 production attacks with a sharpness, a second sharpness, and 3 more attacks in the reinforcement. Because Longsword is one of those weapons that once you get into the flow state with everything, you don't really want to interrupt it by sharpening. My idea behind it was, boom, this is my perfect roll. The reason for the 2 sharpness is it gives me just enough in between monster transitions that I don't really have to worry about it. Granted, this could not be your favorite roll. This could not be your god roll. Maybe you want more sharpness. Maybe you want another attack. Maybe you want all 5 attack and you're going to slot in handicraft or razor sharp, master's touch, anything like that. That's fine. This was my favorite. Any good Rarity 8 Artian Longsword will do for this build. Next up, we have my Queen Cord Maker. Of course, we have the Rathian Hunting Horn. Why not? We do have the new Arch-Tempered New Udra helmet and chestplate, with the Arch-Tempered Uthduna Greaves, and then Legiacris arms and coil. Now, the reason we're rocking all of these is because any of the Arch-Tempered weapon or armors combined with each other, as long as you have 3 of them, gives you Guts. Guts is that 5% damage increase and is like a pseudo-moxie effect, to where if you were to get hit, when you are above a certain health threshold, it won't count as a cart. Instead, you'll just survive on 1 HP. It's a little daunting, it's a little scary, but if that were to happen, you either get a defense and a resistance bonus, or you just keep the attack bonus the entire time, and it will prevent a cart, which is nice in some of these harder fights, okay? Next up is we have the Legiacris. Legiacris is great. It's still wonderful, and the reason for it is, 1, its skills are insane on this armor piece. This is Rarity 7 armor that feels like Rarity 8, so I'm really excited for Title Update 4, where I might be able to utilize it a little more to its fullest potential once it's been transcended or upgraded even further. But we also get Azure Bolt, which is going to increase our affinity. On Longsword, affinity, attack, crit, they're all very, very important, which means we want to be getting as much of it as we can. An additional source, like Azure Bolt from the 2-piece bonus, is a really, really nice and welcome addition. Next up, we have the Golden Age Charm. You've seen this charm on my channel. You know it. You love it. I know I do. It's my attack boost 3 with item prolonger. At least to make this build work as perfectly as I was able to, you do need an attack boost 3 charm. You can substitute, however, an attack boost charm with a steadfast charm for stun resistance, or if you happen to have one with maximum might or divine blessing. Okay, there's a couple different options here, but at least to mimic exactly what I have here, you're going to want attack boost 3 at the minimum. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and get into decorations. We have Critical Jewel 3 and Critical Jewel 3. Thanks to my Talisman, my attack jewel, I was able to give myself maximum attack, maximum crit boost. And then we have something that I don't regularly use, which is speed sharpening. And that is because speed sharpening is a forgotten skill. When you've got such good skills like master's touch, handicraft even, razor sharp, you don't necessarily need to speed up how fast your weapon sharpens. However, not everybody is going to have something called wet fish fins, which make it to where you sharpen once and you're done. This removes 2 cycles. So if you're on your bird, your secret, or you're on the ground and you're sharpening, you go 1, 2. And if you pay attention to it, the bar slowly continues going up. Now, what's cool about this is that speed sharpening knocks 2 of those off. Meaning instead of it being 1, 2, 3, 4 to get back to maximum sharpness, it's 1, 2, done. So for that, not only I did have a speed sharpening attack boost decoration, which allowed me to get the maximum attack, maximum crit boost that I was going for. Okay. Next up, we have 1, 2, 3 tenderizer jewels. This is going to give us weakness exploit level 5. Weakness exploit is amazing because when you are hitting a weak spot, 30% affinity is being applied, which means with our natural 5% plus that, we are sitting at a minimum of 35% affinity as long as we're not hitting a weak or a hard spot on the monster. Okay. If it's a wound, you get an additional 20%, giving us a grand total of 55 without anything else. Okay. Next up, we have Counter Jewel. Counter Jewel is for Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is really, really good because when you go to do your Foresight Slash or you try to Iai Spirit Slash to avoid getting hit, you get invincibility frames in some of those. You will still, quote unquote, take damage and get hit, which can proc Counter-Strike, but you'll still get the stun resistance to ensure that you don't actually like topple to the ground. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. So Counter-Strike is really nice here because if you are playing your cards right with Foresight Slash or Iai Spirit Slash, there are going to be times where you will get the dodge, you will get the perfect dodge, the counter, and you will still get hit, thus proccing Counter-Strike on top of keeping your momentum going. That and everybody gets hit. Next up is we have one of the most important perks. Because I said you're sitting at a pretty much natural 35% affinity, the thing about it is that 35% is not a lot. You don't really get to take advantage of critical boosts with only 35% affinity. So Maximum Might comes in at level 3 and gives us plus 30%. Meaning, very easily, because the Longsword is not a very stamina-heavy weapon, you are sitting at approximately 65% affinity. 65% affinity is much, much better. But when you include Weakness Exploit on wounds, it's 20%. And if you include Leviathan's Fury as your bolt, you get an additional 15%. So 5% from our weapon, 30% from our Weakness Exploit gives us 35. Maximum Might gives us another 30%, putting us at 65, plus Leviathan's Fury as your bolt when it's active gives us a minimum of 80% affinity when everything is working. And the great thing about Azure Bolt is that all it does is activate the more you attack. Granted, there's cooldowns on it, but when it's active, you will have, I think it's 30 seconds of 15% affinity increased. So that, mixed with Maximum Might and all of our other skills, allow us to have a natural 80% affinity. Now include Weakness Exploit on a wound, we are right at that sweet 100% affinity. Okay? Next up is we have Protection Jewels right here. We have 1 Growth Jewel to increase our damage if we are in, say, a longer fight. 1 Shockproof Jewel just so we're not the guy sitting there hitting our teammates around if you're playing multiplayer hunts and just getting absolutely decimated by your fellow Longsword users. And then we have Steadfast. This is for stun resistance. Thanks to our boots being the Arch-Tempered Uthduna, we already have Quick Sheath, which is a must skill to have. If you choose to use anything else, if you choose to adjust this build as you see fit, I highly, highly, highly recommend you still go for Quick Sheath. Quick Sheath is very, very important on Longsword. Okay, now that we've kind of gone over everything, we've gone over the build, let's take a look at what this build looks like in action. So if you can see, oh, that's popped, wrong button. We're at 260 natural raw attack with 35% affinity. Okay, if I were to pull my sword out and just start swinging, we are able to get burst active, giving us 272. And then Azure Bolt is active, giving us 50% affinity. And you'll see we are always keeping our stamina. The only thing that consumes stamina is that Foresight Slash. But you see how easy it is for it to come back. So as long as you are sitting here, playing Longsword as intended, working on your Spirit Blade combos, and moving through the motions, if you will, you will be able to have maximum stamina to have any opportunity to roll. You'll be able to have upwards of 300 raw attack after food buff and no hunting horn buff. 284 is what we're sitting at right now, just because. Okay, we've got a decent amount of defense, a good amount of resistances. Because of everything simultaneously working together, this is kind of like the all-arounder build for everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys speed sharpening, because I feel like it's one of those that everybody forgets about. Let's see if there's a... Just kind of work on getting rid of my stamina. You can see some decent numbers in there. Nothing crazy, but we're definitely up there. I want to get my sharpness down to... Actually, here, let's go attack this. If you don't know, when you're playing Longsword, if you were to use all of these Spirit Blade combos on hard monster parts, like Gravios's underbelly, you are going to lose sharpness twice as fast, but it doesn't actually end up getting blocked, which is really nice. And then we're almost at that blue sharpness. There we go. And you can see now, without white sharpness, we're able to continue doing our Spirit Blade combos, but our regular Crimson Slashes, they can't go through anymore. Okay? So, food for thought. If you weren't aware, now you are. That is how that works. Now, you can see that we have about 1/6 of our sharpness bar missing. Normally, sharpening, we would be sitting here, and we would be wanting to sharpen. Or during the hunt, whatever reason, maybe the monsters left us alone for a second, we're down to green, we need to sharpen. Speed sharpening, 1, done. My weapon only needed 3 sharpens, quote unquote, to get back up to a full sharpness bar. What just happened was, is thanks to speed sharpening, I removed 2 cycles. Those 2 cycles being removed guaranteed that my sharpness bar went back to full in 1. It's not exactly as good as a wet fish fin, because wet fish fin you can continue to use and it'll always just be 1. But as long as you sharpen within a reasonable amount of time, don't go all the way down to yellow, you'll be able to replenish your sharpness gauge on your weapon for that sweet white damage multiplier, and it'll be significantly faster than ever before. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you all for coming and watching. Thank you all for hanging out. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Farewell.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.